What is up, Yarka Nation? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about a very common question that a lot of people have. What size boxing gloves should you use? I get this question a lot. Everyone gets this question. Even when I started boxing, you don't really know because you see all these different sizes of boxing gloves. Today we're going to be answering them, and I'm going to be giving you guys a description on each size you should use and what to use them for. Before we get started, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and check out my Instagram and TikTok. If you don't know me, I'm an amateur boxer. I post every day on TikTok. I'm getting back to posting on YouTube consistently. So let's start off with the types of gloves we have. 18-ounce gloves, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8. And then we also have these bag mitts. We have a lot of different types of gloves. To start off, we're going to talk about bag mitts. These are a very old school thing. You know, you don't really see much boxers using them nowadays, but they have a lot of benefits. These are very thin, very small. They're probably like 4 ounces or something. They're not meant to be big and bulky like a traditional boxing glove. These gloves, you can open and close them. They kind of look like an oven mitt. I got a lot of people commenting that on my videos. The purpose of this glove is to focus on your technique and landing shots properly. They're really small, and that helps you actually practice proper punch form and know where you're punching. Although it's small and people think it might not have any protection, you can really throw hard in this. It does have protection, but above all, it doesn't give you that false sense of protection that other gloves might give you. It kind of forces you to punch properly. And most injuries happen because you don't punch properly, and your knuckles land on the bag or the pads the wrong way, and it causes them to hurt. So yeah, these gloves are very useful for bag work. Also, if you're in a gym or something and you guys are doing a circuit and one of the things is bag, then you have to go lift weights or something, you can do them with these. Moving on, next we have 8 and 10 ounce gloves. Let me go get those gloves from the back. These are my custom 10 ounce gloves. So 10 ounce and 8 ounce gloves are very similar in that they're probably the smallest size boxing glove you can get. These are mainly used for bag work and pad work. These have a lot of the benefits of the normal bag mitt. Having smaller gloves helps you practice punching properly, landing properly, practicing your technique properly. For the bag and pads, 8 or 10 ounce is good. Depends on your size. I'd say if you're like over 150, get a 10 ounce for the bag and pads. If you're under, maybe 8 ounce. I fight around like 121, 125, but I use 10 ounce gloves because I don't know, that's just what I got, but either or will do, you know. People think that practicing with smaller gloves will make you like less strong or weaker or whatever because you're not punching with something heavier, but that's all a myth. You'd rather practice your punches and technique with a smaller glove than use a bigger glove and sacrifice all that just for like conditioning or whatever. The downside with these gloves is that, like I said, you can't really do too much drills with them. They're not as effective as a bag mitts where you can really feel your knuckles. But if you got the right bag glove, like 10 ounce glove, it'll be good for practicing drills and on the bag. And you can even do partner drills with these because they're a bit bigger. With the smaller bag mitts, you can't really do sparring drills or like tech drills or anything because they're too small. But these, you can still do like sparring drills with them. Obviously, you're not going to hit your partner hard with them. Most of these gloves don't have too much padding, but they have enough for the bag, you know. And they have a different type of padding than the sparring gloves. They usually have a more firm padding to protect your knuckles. So that's the bag gloves. Moving on, we have 14, 16, and 18 ounce gloves. These are my sparring gloves. So 14, 16, and 18 ounce are usually used for sparring. You don't usually use them on the bag or on pads because you're going to destroy the padding. Usually sparring gloves have a special type of padding to protect you and your sparring partner. Because when you're sparring, you're not really trying to knock the person out, you know, especially if it's someone at your gym that you're training with. You're trying to practice what you want to work on, you know. You don't want to be hitting them with like horsehair padding. So 14 ounce gloves, I wouldn't use them if I was over like 110 pounds. I'd say 110 and under, you can use 14s. I've seen pros though, like Noya Inoue, who are like around 120, 130, use 14 ounce gloves. But 16 ounces are the most universally accepted. You can go to almost any gym across North America at least, but I'm pretty sure even in Europe and them, where some gyms will mandate sparring with 16 ounces at least, and some gyms will just prefer it, you know. Like you'll go to a gym and everyone's using 16 ounces to spar. It's kind of like the universally accepted sparring glove. So when you're getting a sparring glove, I'd say get a 16 ounce glove. You can get 18 ounce gloves if you're really big, but it really just depends on what your size and what you feel comfortable with, you know. Now the main thing is there's 3 categories of gloves. There's bag mitts, like I said, that you can use for like the bag and maybe pads, but mostly for the bag and practicing your technique. These are the least popular. You don't really need these when you're starting off, but the 2 main gloves you need are bag gloves and sparring gloves. Bag gloves you use on the pads, you use for partner drills. You know, you can destroy them on whatever you want. Your sparring gloves are the ones you're supposed to be preserving and using only for sparring and maybe partner drills, stuff like that. People think that using 16 ounces on the bag is good for your conditioning and to get used to it when you're sparring. That might be good, and it might be good to use a spare 16 ounce for hitting the bag sometimes, working your conditioning. But for the most part, if you really want to practice your technique properly and land your punches properly, you have to use a glove which is smaller. If you go look at any of these pros who train or high-level amateurs, most of them always use 8 or 10 ounces on the bag, maybe 12 sometimes. Using 16 ounces on the bag, yeah, it'll give you a good workout. It'll make you feel more comfortable. I can't even lie, sometimes I like using 16 ounces on the bag too, but I wouldn't use them on the bag too much because because I don't want to destroy the padding, and second of all, I want to get proper punches. I want to practice my technique properly, you know. Now vice versa, you don't want to use bad gloves for sparring. You don't want to use 10-ounce gloves or 12-ounce gloves for sparring. Like, even if your coach or the other person can't tell, like, it's kind of just like a dirty move, you know. You don't really want to do that. You want to be on an equal playing field and practice properly. So if you're just starting out and you're looking to buy gloves, I'd say buy your own bag glove, use that on your pads, use that on the bag, and then use the gym's sparring gloves, because most times gyms have like sparring gloves that people can use until you can save up money and then buy sparring gloves. But I wouldn't say the idea of buying one glove for all is a good idea, because a lot of people think that. They're like, yeah, I'll just get a 16 ounce and use them for all around. But when I started, I bought a 12 ounce because I thought like 12 was good for both bag and sparring. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just didn't know, you know. So I'm just making this video for people like me who didn't really know back then. And yeah, a lot of people have been asking me this question, so I just thought I'd make a quick video. I'm going to be posting more consistently on YouTube. I know I say that every video, but I really want to lock in. If you guys have any more video recommendation ideas, leave them in the comments. If you have any thoughts on this or questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure to follow my Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to this YouTube channel, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.